Hello, my name is Milagros and I work at the Department of Applied Linguistics at the Universidad Politécnica de Valencia. Today we're going to have a look at how to use an English dictionary. So this is like a mini tutorial. Right, the aims of the presentation are the following. First, I'm going to explain the basic steps you need to follow when you are looking up for the meaning of words, especially in order to differentiate among different types of vocabulary within specialized domains, to learn how to discriminate among different uses of one specific word, and finally, or in a word, to make the most out of using an English dictionary to improve your vocabulary. Right, so first of all, we are going to start with different types of vocabulary. First, there is the so-called technical vocabulary. Technical vocabulary includes words whose meaning is unequivocal. This means that these words have only one meaning and they belong to a specialized domain. Right. These words normally have a Latin or Greek origin. So, imagine that you are an expert in the field of agronomy. So, if you find the following words, apiculture, pollinate, or the noun pollination, or biofuel, you will be familiar with these words. So, any expert in the field will understand the meaning of these words. Remember that the meaning is unequivocal. It means there is just one meaning in the dictionary. So, if we have a look at this screen, which has been taken from an online dictionary, and we type in pollinate, this is what we obtained. Pollinate is to give a flower or plant pollen so that it can produce seeds. So there is no ambiguity in the meaning. Okay? Right. The second type of vocabulary, which is a bit more difficult, is the so-called semi-technical vocabulary. This is everyday language words which take on a different meaning in a field of expertise. So imagine a word that in English has one meaning, but in a specific field, for example agronomy, forestry engineering, it has a different and more specific meaning. So, for example, here we have two different uses of the verb to mate. In the first one, the ultimate goal of chess is to mate your opponent. But then we have a different use with a totally different context, which is rabbits can be mated as early as 6 months old. Right. The important thing about semi-technical vocabulary is that you need the context to know what the meaning of the word is. Right. So now we are going to have a look at the following screen. This is a screen taken from the Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English, an online dictionary. So, if you type in the word race, this is what you obtain. As you can see, here we have different uses of the verb raised. Raised is used as a verb, as a noun, as an adjective, and then we have other formations or collocations which include the word raised. Now imagine the following situation. You are given the following sentence. These farmers raise pigs on the farm over there. So, if I ask you to look up the meaning of the word raise in a dictionary, the first step is to look for contextual cues. Right. To do that, we are going to look at the context where this sentence occurs. Raise is used next to farmers and is used next to pigs, and we have on that farm over there. Right. So, first you need to decide if raise is used as a verb, as a noun, or as an adjective. It's not difficult to see from context that raise here is being used as a verb. So, if we go to the screen here and we look under raised as a verb, we find that raised as a verb is used in two main areas. The first one is cards and the second one is agriculture. Right. So now the next step would be selecting and discarding entries. Okay, here we realize that the use of raise here is related to agriculture because we have farmers and we have pigs. Right, so then what we are going to do, we click on raise and this is what we find. If you try this at home online, you will find sub-entries. These sub-entries are numbered, okay? And now what you have to do is select the right one and discard, eliminate those entries which are irrelevant. So in our case, the only relevant entry is 11, because in 11 we see that the verb raised is used in relation to animals or plants. And the definition is to look after animals or grow plants so that they can be sold or used as food. Right, and the third step, and the last one, is to check that the entry is correct. So this entry says that it's to look after animals, and here in our example we have to raise pigs. So the meaning is to look after pigs on the farm over there to sell them as food. Right, so this is the right meaning. We were looking for the verb raise. So you might be asking yourselves, why do we have to use a monolingual dictionary? Well, there are several reasons, but mainly if you use a monolingual dictionary, you have a more direct contact with the English language. This means that you will read in English and you will find the word within a context. As I told you before, it's very important to have a context. And also, and I think this is the most important part, if you use a monolingual dictionary, you participate in the active learning process. This means that the more effort you put into guessing the meaning of the word, the longer you will remember its meaning. Right, now we're going to try a very easy activity. Right, I want you to study the following sentences carefully. And you have to decide if the underlined words belong to the category of nouns, verbs, or adjectives. So these are the sentences. The crop yield this year has been twice as much as last year. The 1990 US cotton crop yielded approximately 3.8 million tons. And the last one, a cyclist was injured as he failed to yield to an oncoming car. So imagine that you have to use the dictionary to find the meaning of these words in each of the sentences. So the first thing you have to decide is whether this word is a noun or is a verb or is an adjective. Have a look again. Right. In the first sentence, we have that yield is used as a noun, together with crop yield, and is the subject of the verb has been. In the next sentence, we have that yielded is used as a verb in the past tense, and is used in relation to a quantity, 3.8. And in the last one, we have the use of yield as a verb again, in relation to cars of means of transport. Notice we have a cyclist and a car. Right, so now imagine that you go to a Longman dictionary online. Right, if you type in the word yield, this is what you will obtain. You obtain 3 different uses of this word, as a verb, as a noun, and as an adjective. Right, so if you want to know the meaning of the verb, you click on the verb. Right, and what you find here is 2 different entries. Okay, one entry is result, we are not interested in this one, and the next entry says crops and profits. So this means that the verb yield is used in relation to the words crops and profits. Okay, and notice that in this sentence we have cotton crop yielded. So the meaning is going to be to produce crops or to produce profits. So this is the entry you need to understand the meaning of this verb. In the next one, we have a cyclist was injured as he failed to yield to an oncoming car. We find, if you click under the verb, we find another entry which says traffic. So this means to give way, to allow other traffic on a bigger road. So this is the entry you need to understand the meaning of yield. And finally, for the noun example, if you click on the noun use of yield, you find that the meaning is the amount of profits, crops that something produces. So here, obviously, yield refers to the amount of crop produced. Right, and now very briefly, we are going to try another activity. I want you to study the following screen carefully. This is a screen capture with results for the word made. Again, you see that made is used as a noun, as a verb, as a noun again here, and here we have different collocations. And notice that on this side of the screen, we have different areas, different fields of expertise where you can use these words. Right, so now I want you to tell me what fields of areas or specialization do the following uses of the word made belong to. So here you have different uses of the word, and I want you to go back to this screen and decide if, for example, in the first sentence, made is being used as a verb in relation to biology, or if it's used as a noun in relation to navy, etc. So take your time to study this screen and to do the exercise. Right, and here you have the key for exercise 2. Here in a red circle you have the right domain, the right area in which the verb made is being used in this specific sentence. Right, and here you have some online resources. These are the web pages of online dictionaries. So good luck with them. This is the end for today. Thank you very much.